Alright, this will be my first battle report, playing the Walking Dead All Out War game, and I have devised a little scenario called Where's Chelsea? This scenario will involve Sarah, and this will be Sarah's model, uh, and she is trying to find her daughter, uh, who has gone missing right as the zombie outbreak has really started up. Been a little bit on the news about some strange happenings, but at this point, there's really nothing known about what's going on. Here is Chelsea. If she is lucky enough to find her, this will be the little girl that she will find, and will attempt to rescue her. So the object of this scenario is to essentially find Chelsea and escape, who should be over here hopefully, and once successful, will escape back off the map across the road. If she can do that, then that would be considered a victory. However, there is a couple complications. The first complication I've called, what is wrong with these people? Essentially, since this is at the beginning of the outbreak, Sarah really doesn't know what's going on, has never encountered a zombie yet. And so to represent this, the first time that she is in melee contact with a zombie, her very next action, she will have to roll the panic die. What the panic die represents is somebody who's basically lost their cool, normally in the game, and that's what it'll represent here. She will have to do that on her very next action. However, after that, she will be back in control and can play as normal. The second complication I have called Where's Chelsea? Similar to the title of the scenario. However, here is how this will work. Across the map, there's a variety of supply tokens, just like you would normally find in the game. And when you search them, you get to draw off the supply deck and hopefully get something cool. There's a chance of drawing zombies, but hopefully get something cool. In this scenario, however, every time that she searches one of those after the first one, before drawing a card, I will roll a six-sided die. On a 1 or a 2, she will basically have gotten a clue and realized that Chelsea is not here and has gone over to a friend's house. That will kind of mark the end of the scenario, and in that case, she will need to make her way off the edge of the board this direction. And this dividing line here is where she will have to go to. If she rolls a 3 or 4, she's in fact gone to Emma's Diner for ice cream. Again, she will need to make her way off that edge of the board. If it is a 5 or a 6, she has actually found Chelsea, and that marker will be replaced by Chelsea's figurine, and then from there she will need to move away, again crossing the street and exiting the board. And that will be the challenges or complications for this particular scenario. Before we get started, I will show you the stats of Sarah. So this is Sarah. It shows that she is a runner, and that's this kind of a class. And basically what that means is that when she has to jump over a barrier such as that fence, she will automatically succeed, where normally there's a chance that you fail. In melee, she will roll 1 white die. She has no dice in shooting. She has never shot a gun in her life. And for defense, she will roll 2 red dice. Now, to classify the dice, there's 3 kinds. There's red, white, and blue. Red being the weakest of the die, while blue being the strongest. Her nerve is at medium, so that means once the threat counter gets into high, she will have to start rolling the panic die every round to respond. You can see for her health that she has 5 hit points, so she can effectively take 5 wounds before she's dead. She has the special rules nimble. I decided that Sarah, to make ends meet, being a single mom that she is, that she teaches self-defense training in a local bigger town. She has to drive each day to work. So the nimble, along with her defense rating and kind of higher melee rating, represents her martial arts skills. Nimble basically says at the beginning of the melee phase, roll one black dice. If I roll a shield, 50% of the sides are shield, 50% are blank. If she rolls a shield, she immediately moves 1 inch away from all enemies that she's in contact with and thus escapes the combat. Now, this is optional. She could choose to not roll it, but otherwise it allows her basically to slip away. And then she does have a leader ability, despite the fact that she's never had any kind of military training or anything like that. She is pretty decent at crisis management. She's typically pretty calm and pays attention to her surroundings. And so what that'll do is, as an action, players can try to reduce the threat level, but it's a kind of an iffy thing. She not only will succeed because of her stay calm leader ability, but she can reduce it anywhere from 1 to 3, which is random, where normally it's only 1. So again, she's good at keeping the situation under control. So we will begin with her turn. The zombies are already set up, and just to kind of point them out, we have a supply token here with the zombie. As long as the zombie is touching anywhere on the truck, she cannot search the supply token, but to search it, she normally would be up against the truck as long as there's not a threat against it, which there is. There is a supply token over here at the parallel bars and also a zombie in contact with it, so she'll have to get the zombie away before she can search. Over here between the swing sets and the teeter-totter is another one, and here's some punk dude mohawk. What's that guy doing at the park? Also here at the little playground fort, there's a supply token, but behind it, what looks like a little kid is up against it. And then at the merry-go-round, we have what looks like a mother standing next to it. And so let's begin. So the first thing that Chelsea is going to do is that she is going to make her way to the truck. Now she notices that the truck looks like it's wrecked into the gateway, the main gate. Of course, she can easily hop over. And she sees this man stumbling around, thinking that maybe he's hurt. She is looking for her daughter, but you know, the idea that I'm doing this is that she thinks that he's hurt. So she is just going to kind of walk up there. That'll be her first action. And I'm going to just end it there. That's all she's going to do. So the next part would be the event phase. And the first thing you do is you look at any zombies and see if they're within this zone, this kill zone. This one is actually just outside of the kill zone. If they were close enough, they automatically move into contact with the human model, the survivor model, assuming there's no terrain in the way. So in this case, there is not. Because there's nothing going on there, these zombies aren't doing anything at the moment, and then we will draw an event card. So this one says The Walking Dead. Immediately increase the threat level by 2, so it is at 1. In fact, I'll just keep this here. It is now at 3. That's what its first thing it says. Since we are in the all quiet phase, it says 2d red dice worth of zombies enter play, and then we'll move toward the nearest survivor. So here's how I'm going to do that. First, we're going to roll these 2 dice and see how many zombies come in. So there is 2. The next thing that I'm going to do is I kind of like to make this a little random. So I am going to go from the center. We'll use the center of the board as our marker, and we're going to roll this 10-sided dice, and however it's pointing, whatever end it points at, that's where they come in. So the first one, it is pointing this way. So this zombie, we'll say, appears here. And then for the second one, again, going off the center, comes this way. So we will say, we'll move our little counter over, that this zombie, we'll say they appear about here. And then it says they immediately move toward the nearest survivor. So zombies typically will always move in a straight line. So in a straight line, this zombie moves and gets stuck up on the fence. This zombie will move toward her. Zombies shamble basically 6 inches. And so this one will end its move right here. Next round is the melee phase. There is no melee going on, which is a good thing, because if you are in melee, the first thing you do is increase the threat by 1. But there is no melee. Then we will go to the end phase. The end phase is where you would roll to see if zombies that are knocked down, do they stand up, or any model for that matter. And then if you've been bitten, you would also roll to see if you suffer the effects of the bite. And in this case, you just take an extra wound right away. And obviously, if your wounds ever get to 0, you're dead, which would end this game pretty quick. So there's really nothing going on there. So we're going to go back to the next action. So again, we're going to play Sarah just a little bit innocent, not really quite understanding what's going on. She is just going to go ahead and move up to this guy and, you know, basically trying to assess if there's anything wrong with him, you know, ask him what's going on. Because she's in base contact with the zombie, she does not get her second action. So that will end her turn. Also, because she has moved into base contact at the beginning of her next action phase, she will actually have to roll a panic die to see how she responds. So that'll pretty much end her turn. We go to the melee phase. There is melee, or will be melee, so she will move the threat counter up by 1. Actually, before we do that, I think we're going to keep it that way. I'm actually not sure how her nimble, if her nimble goes off before you check for the threat, but I'm assuming not. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, that will occur in the melee phase. I'm sorry. This is the event phase. My bad. So the threat goes up by 1. Actually, that will happen at the melee phase. I'm sorry. I'm going to back this up 1. First, we're going to go to the event phase. She's already in contact. There's no other zombies close to her, so nothing else happens there. Then we will do the event card, and then we go to melee phase. So my bad. So this one is Pandemonium. First thing we do is increase the threat level by 1. We are now in the low threat threshold, and so for low threat it says roll a blue die and move that many eligible walkers toward the nearest survivor. Then roll a white die and that many zombies enter play. So could really suck. So an eligible walker is any walker that is standing up but not engaged with another model. So I roll 2, so 2 walkers will move toward her. So things are getting a little crazy. So we're going to move this guy. He is going to go toward her in a straight line. He will almost get to her, but he will run into the truck and stop. And we'll say since this guy already kind of was moving toward her, let's say he continues. So he's going to try to take the shortest path. So he is going to go around the fence. So if we do that, he will move about 2.5, and then so he'll basically come to here. We'll just do that. It seems thematic. And then we're going to get into the melee phase. This is where it says at the beginning of melee, if there is melee, increase the threat by 1. So I'm going to go ahead and play it this way. She is going to try to back away, try to use her nimble ability. So I rolled a shield. That means she is successful, so she will move 1 inch away. So she is quick to go, hey, what is going on? And she'll back up, and that is about 1 inch. So because of that, there will not be combat. And that'll pretty much end that phase. And then we go to the end phase, of which nothing's going on. So we're going to go back to the action phase. Again, this is her first time out. So what she will have to do is that she will have to roll the panic die. And let's see what happens to her. So we're going to roll it. And we got the little icon here where it's feet running. So that icon represents the flea. So she will run in an 8-inch in a straight line directly away from the nearest enemy. And that will actually end her turn. So she's panicking and she will run away. So that is the nearest enemy. So she's going to run back over here and she is freaking out. What in the heck is going on? What is wrong with these people? However, because that is now over, she will no longer have to roll the panic until the threat level gets up here into the high threat. So she'll be good from there. So she's definitely way out of the attack zone of any zombies, so there's nothing there for the event phase, so we'll just move on to drawing the event card. And we will draw roamers. We are in the low threat, and it says move one eligible walker toward the nearest survivor. That seems to be the theme here. So we'll just say the guy that she was up against, he is the one making his way toward her. So he is going to move to here. He's coming her way. But other than that, nothing happens in the event phase. There is no melee, so that we'll skip that again. Nothing going on in the end phase, so we'll skip that and go back to the action phase. So now she has kind of got a little bit of a grip now. She's got a little more control over herself, and she is going to run. Now, run does have a negative side effect. It does attract zombies. But at the moment, she doesn't really understand that, we'll say. So she is going to try to run up here, up close to this fence. So this is where she runs to. Anytime you run, you create noise. When you create noise, you take the nearest zombie within 10 inches. And this measurement is 10 inches. The nearest zombie, which is going to be this guy, and he will move his 6 inches toward her. He'll shamble toward her. That is enough to put her back into melee. So he's just going to come straight back and chase her down. That will end her action. I guess I probably should have calmed things down first, but I didn't think about it, so my bad. So we are going to go into the event phase. I can already tell you there's no other zombies close enough to, for this kill zone, so we won't need to worry about that. We will go ahead and draw the event card. The event cards definitely aren't working for her. There's a storm coming, so the threat level increases by 1. And at this threat level, which she's still in low threat, the tension reaches a fevered pitch. Add 1 to the threat die. Oh my gosh, so we're going to do it again because of our level. And then immediately draw 2 more event cards and apply the results one at a time. Oh my gosh, things are getting crazy. This might be a short scenario. So for the first card, we're going to draw Pandemonium. The threat level goes up by 1. We are still in the low threat. Hey, we've kind of done this one before. So first we're going to roll an 8-sided, blue die, and move that many eligible walkers toward her. We've got 2. So we're going to do this one. We'll just kind of stick with the close ones for now. I probably should be a little more strategic. So by the time it comes around, it's here. Not quite to her. But we'll keep with this theme and we'll shamble this guy closer. And so he will be to here. And the next thing we do is we'll roll a white die and we will bring that many more walkers into play. So we roll a white die and we're going to get a 2. Of course we are. So we'll see when the first one spawns. He's going to spawn again back this way. To about here, kind of where the other one came from. And we roll it again. And back here, there'll be one here. That is the first of the 2 cards. And then the second one is Feeding Frenzy. And we are still in the low threat. It says roll a black die for each survivor engaged in melee, which we've got one. So we're going to get the black die. And it says on a shield, the model will lose 1 health. So we got a 50-50 chance of her already getting scuffled up, which I did. you can see here. So maybe the zombie kind of shoved her up against the fence as he charged her. So first thing we're going to do is we are going to take her health here and we're going to move it down to 4. So she's been wounded. That's kind of a bummer. So that's the end of the event phase. So melee phase will increase the threat by 1. It's medium. She is going to try to use her nimble to get away again, which I rolled a blank, so she is stuck. So now we're going to get into melee combat. So when you fight, you have to choose either you're going to attack or you're going to defend. When you attack, as a survivor, if you roll any of the headshots, which are these little exclamation points on the die, if you win the battle and do damage and you get this, you actually automatically kill them. Even if you win the battle and do damage, if you don't have an exclamation point, all you do is you push them back and knock them down. She is going to defend herself. So she is going to get 2 red dice. The zombie will just get 1. So we will roll for her first. And she got 1 hit. We will roll for the zombie. And he got 1 hit. So it is a tie. However, survivors always win ties against zombies. So she won't kill him, but what she will do is she will push him back 1 inch and she will knock him down. So she's won her little scuffle there. And that is the end of the melee phase. So we're going to roll here in the event phase to see if the zombie stands up. If I roll a shield, he stands up, which I do. So of course he stands up. She is not having a good day. And that is the end of that turn. So now things are getting a little desperate. So what I am going to do is she is going to sneak, so it means that she'll move a short move, and she's going to hop the fence. Because she is a runner, her ability is to jump over things successfully, automatically. So we're just going to hop, and she's pretty much just going to jump over, and she's going to go to here. Yeah, we'll say that. That's her first action. For her second action, because I haven't been thinking about it, she is going to try to calm her nerves. So basically she's going to try to reduce the threat level. Now her leadership ability allows her to automatically succeed, and you roll a blue die, and for every pip on it you reduce the threat by that much. So she rolled a 2, better than a 1, and reduces the threat back into low, and it goes all the way down to 7. So that's the end of her 2 actions. So we go back into the event phase, and we are going to look to see if there's any zombies under. I guess I could do it that way. There are not, so no zombies will move. So we will flip the event card. It's the hunger. Threat level automatically goes up by 1. We are in low threat. So it says here, move 1 eligible walker toward the nearest survivor. Well, guess what? That actually is this one. Oh, we actually kind of lucked out. This is the closest one. So he's going to go straight, and he's going to stop at the fence. And that's all that happens. That's actually not too bad. There is no melee going on. There's nothing to roll for in the in phase. So again, back to the action. She really needs to be going after these tokens. Actually, technically, as long as she's touching the truck, she can search. So her first action will be to, let's see. Ooh, I'm going to have to run. So here's what she's going to do. I'm going to say, let's see how we want to do this. Okay. She's going to run to this part of the truck. The first thing that'll do is it will take the closest zombie within 10, which is this guy, and it will shamble directly toward her. Since it's already touching the barrier or whatever it is, the terrain that it walked into, it can then just go toward her without it going in just in a straight line. It can go around. This is the closest way to get in because the zombies can't climb. So what I will do is the zombie's coming around this way. It's coming to get her. But again, no big deal really. Her second action is she's going to search. Since the zombie's not touching, she will go ahead and automatically search. Now remember, she doesn't roll to see if she finds a clue to Sarah's whereabouts until after she's done the first one. So this is the first one. And she will draw off the supply phase, and she gets some horse pills. Yeah, that's what's in that truck. That's kind of weird. And it says here, you can discard as a special action to restore white dice worth of health points. The survivor activation immediately ends and they are laid prone. Wow, those horse pills work, but they sure knock you out. So maybe not something to do right in the middle of a battlefield. But anyway, so she has that. Put that in her back. So the next the next part is the event phase. Again, no zombies were within her kill zone. So we go to drawing the event card. Frayed nerves. Okay. Look for low threat. One model with low nerve of the player's choice creates noise. If there are no eligible models, add one to the threat level. So hers is not low. Hers is medium, so the threat level will just go up by 1. Which is not that great because now things are starting to get kind of freaky. There's nothing in the melee phase, there's nothing in the end phase, so we'll go back down to the actions. All these zombies over here are kind of freaking her out, so she is going to make her way over, but she's getting a little desperate. So here's what I'm going to say is going to happen. She is going to run over to here, and she's going to get to this side, and she's going to go ahead and go into base contact with this. Or not quite into base contact. She can make it over here. So by creating a noise, the nearest zombie is going to move into her, so we're just going to have it do that. It's not really cheating. I'm using the rules. Anyway, so she's going to do that. That will end her turn. You know, I should have tried to reduce the threat again. I just forgot it. Anyway, so event phase, walkers within kill zone, it's already there. Go ahead and draw an event card. Roamers, and we are in medium threat. So it says roll 1 blue die and move that many eligible walkers toward the nearest survivor. Well, that's not good. So we roll only 1. And it just says eligible walkers. So, you know, let's go ahead and do this. Let's move this one. This is an eligible walker. Toward her. So this one's going to move to here. That's a pretty good distance. I didn't realize I could move quite that far. Okay, so that one's making its way over. It saw her when she jumped the fence and it got her attention, or got its attention, and it's coming toward her. So we are going to go to the melee phase. The threat level increases by 1. She's going to use her nimble and try to hop out of the way. She does not, so she's going to go into combat. She's still going to defend herself, so she will roll 2 red and gets 2 hits, and the zombie will get 1, so she wins. She'll push it back 1 inch and knock it down. That's the end of the melee phase, or the end phase, so let's go ahead and roll to see if the zombie stands back up, which unfortunately it does, so it stands up here. And that's all that's going to happen there. The action phase, let's go ahead and we're going to search. So we're going to, you see, it goes around. I can just get my fingers on it. Here we go. Found some kid's purple backpack. Now, before she draws the card, she's going to roll to see if maybe there's a clue. So let's roll and see what happens. She did roll the 6. So it is a clue to where Chelsea is. So let us roll again and see what the clue is. She got a 5. Well, this is kind of serendipitous because we'll say maybe Chelsea had the backpack thrown over the top of her. And so, and I'm just going to move Chelsea to here. It was Chelsea hiding there the whole time. Maybe trying to hide from the zombie that had wandered close. So, hey, that's actually a good thing, because now at this point, all Sarah has to do is get her and Chelsea off the board. So, the way I'm going to play this is that Chelsea will have to roll the panic die each turn. And I guess we'll see what happens. That could be bad. If we can, I'll say if we can get the threat level back to low threat, that she can, she'll have to roll a black die, and on a shield she'll have to make a panic check. That sounds good. So for Sarah's second action, you know, I think Sarah is just going to, she's going to lead her daughter away. Actually, she's not. What Sarah's going to do this turn is Sarah is going to try to reduce the threat level. Let's do that instead. Ah, I got a 3. That's pretty awesome. That's kind of what we needed. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, because Chelsea is in the game, she gets 1 action. I'm going to say she just gets 1 action a turn. So, at this point, let's go ahead and roll the panic die. And we will see what happens, what she's going to do. So, she gets this little symbol. It's a person, you know, shushing you with her finger. So basically what that one does is it's called quiet. Can only perform 1 action, which she was only going to do anyway, and it may not cause noise or mayhem. So what I am going to say is that Sarah tells Chelsea to make her way out the gate. And we will just do that. And so she will be here. Let's just hope she doesn't fight any zombies, because I haven't made stats for her, but I can. She has 3 hit points. And she'll get 1 red die. And she always defends. We'll just say that. Anyway, so that is the end of that. So now we are going to go into the event phase. And then are there walkers within kill zones? And there are. This one is. This one's going to charge Sarah. And that will happen. And then we will draw for the event phase. And oh my gosh, as if things couldn't get worse, there's a storm coming again. So we add 1 to the threat, and we're going to draw 2 more cards and apply them 1 at a time. So the next card is Pandemonium. We are in medium threat now, so we will move 2 blue dice worth of walkers toward Sarah. And that would be 4. So we can do any 4 that we want. So we're going to say this one is going to come for her. And actually, it's going to come this far and get stuck, essentially. So that's 1. This one will be 2. This one will be 3. And this one will almost be there, but actually not quite. We'll do this one here. This will be 4. And this guy will come around. I'm going to say he was still up against the cover, basically. That is 5. Oh, no, we only had to move 4. My bad. That's good. We'll stop there. So, you know, kind of scary. But we're not done yet, because we got to draw 1 more threat. Or 1 more event. So the next one, hey, guess what? It's Pandemonium again. The threat level goes back up. And, oh, I'm sorry, one thing I didn't do, you know, before I drew this is 1 blue dice where the zombies are supposed to interplay. So there's 2. Pardon me. So let's see where they would have spawned. We'll just use these 2 dice. So we'll say this one here spawns kind of behind this tree. And the other one actually wasn't too far away. We'll put it here. We'll scoot our little tray back, and we'll say it appears right here. Alright, for the second Pandemonium card, we raise the threat level. We're going to see how many more walkers move their way. Oh my gosh, another 4. Um, this one will move toward her. That's 1. That's 2. Oh my, that's 3. Well, that's kind of scary. And then that is 4. And then another blue dice worth of walkers in her play. And we got a 2. So, let's try that again. And 1 will appear, we'll say here. And the other one will appear, we'll say there. Oh my gosh, things are getting crazy, which is maybe that's why the threat level is so high. That represents that. Okay, so we are going to move into the melee phase. Is there a melee? Yes, there is. The threat level goes up by 1. She is going to try to get out of the way. She's more concerned about getting her daughter out of here. But she does not escape. What I'm going to say this time, though, is she is getting a little frantic. And so instead of defending, she is going to attack. Since there's only 1 zombie in base contact, we're still just rolling 1 die. If that second one would have made it, we would have went from 1 die for zombies to 3 dice for zombies. You don't fight zombies in groups. She's going to attack, and she will use a white die when she attacks. And we roll, and oh my gosh, she loses. Luckily, the zombie didn't get the headshot marker, so she is not bitten. But what he will do is he will basically push her back 1, and she will suffer another damage. So that means she only has 3 hit points left. It's not a great feeling there. But that's the end of that. There's nothing going on in the end phase. So now we're going to go back to the action phase. And let's go ahead and start with Chelsea, because this will kind of determine what Sarah's going to do. So Chelsea is going to have to roll the panic die. And she still gets the quiet action, so that's not too bad, really. So she is just going to sneak. Puts her there. Now, unfortunately, that does put her close to zombies. And she only gets the 1 action, so that's not necessarily the greatest thing ever. But we'll see what happens here. So it's Sarah's turn. Sarah is going to... here's what Sarah's going to do. Sarah is going to sneak. Oops. And she is going to sneak to here. And not quite in melee contact, but closer than Chelsea. She is going to go ahead and use her leadership ability to try to calm things down. She got a 2, so it's back down to 8. The reason why that's important, especially at this point, is if it ever gets into high, then Sarah has to make panic checks every stinking round, and that can really cause problems. So we'll go into the event phase. We're going to see if there's zombies within the kill zone, which there are of her. So this one moves around. And that's it. We're going to check for her. Now, technically, this zombie is within the kill zone, but since it's engaged, it's no longer eligible. So nobody else is around Chelsea. So that's good. We are going to draw the event card, and we're going to see what happens here. Roamers, and we are in medium threat. So roll 1 blue die and move that many walkers to the nearest survivor. So we're going to roll, 3. That's not too bad. So we're going to pick 3 walkers. I'm going to pick this one. He's going to move. He's going to stop. I'm going to pick her. She's going to move. I can guess 6, but we'll be a little precise. So she's going to go to here. And we'll use this guy, and he's going to just walk right into the truck. And that's where we'll end that. Is there melee? The answer is yes. Threat level goes up by 1. She is going to try to get out of it, though. And she did. So she immediately moves 1 inch away. So she basically comes back here, which means there's no melee combat. Nothing's going on during the event phase, and so now it is back to the action phase. And so let's begin with Chelsea again. Maybe Chelsea will just be quiet, keep sneaking off. Guess what? She actually rolled it again. Huh, that's not usually how that works out. Usually they scream or something stupid. So she is just going to sneak. That's her action. Actually, I'm sorry. Should be there. So that means next turn she could technically get off the board. So it is going to be Sarah's turn. So Sarah is also going to sneak. And then she is going to try to reduce the threat level one more time. So I got a 2, so it goes from 10 down to 8. So we're back into low. So we go to the event phase. We're going to check kill zones. Believe it or not, she is just outside that zombie zone, which is about 2 inches. So that's not too bad. We go to the event card and Feeding Frenzy. We have moved back down to low, which is good. Basically, it says roll 1 black for every survivor engaged in melee. There isn't here. So if there are no models in melee, just increase the threat level by 1. So we're back into medium. Medium was actually worse. If it had been in medium first, we'd have been moving more zombies. So no melee phase. We go back to the event or end phase. There's nothing going on there, so we're back to the action phase. So come on, Chelsea, you are almost home, girl. Let's get out of here and see what happens. What is that one? Looks like 2 axes, or an axe and a pistol, I guess I should say. And so this one is Berserk. Whoa, I guess this little girl has just had enough. So Berserk works as this: axe normally, but will add 1 red die to any melee attack. Increase the threat level by 1. So she's just gets angry and starts screaming. She's ready to kill. Threat level goes up by 1, but her mom's chewing her away. Get out of here, girl. And so she will sneak off the board. So Chelsea has made it off of the board. So let's see what Sarah's going to do. Well, you know what? Sarah's just going to run off the board. And that is going to be the end of the scenario. She was successful. Kind of interesting that it ended that way. I didn't actually expect her to find. And the plans were that the other 2 options when she did the clue tokens were she went over to a friend's house, which would have caused her to move to this edge of the board, which means I would have set up the next scenario to play here. If it had been the other one where she went to Emma's Diner for ice cream, same thing would have happened, but instead of trying to look for Chelsea in this board over here, which, sorry about the shake, but it would be this one over here, instead of looking for Sarah, her goal would have just been to gotten through to the other side. One thing I was also going to do, if it was one of the scenario options where she would have had to have traveled on, I would have started the next game in the low threat to make it a little bit more challenging. But hey, she successfully got away, and that was really what we were supposed to do. Happened pretty quick, but hey, that's okay because it got a little hairy there. So I guess we'll have to see what she does next now that she has found her daughter and has learned that zombies are a real thing. I wonder what she'll do next. Stay tuned and maybe we can find out.